Hello, guys. Now we're going to embark on adding fractions that are like those that have uh, denominators that are the same right now. We'll be working up to having denominators that are not the same, which gets a little bit harder and it's a little bit more work involved, but it's not too bad. So you're going to be using pages 619 to 624. Make sure again you put your name and you put your staple up here in the upper right hand side. All right. Now, the essential question for this chapter again is how can equivalent fractions help me add and subtract fractions? So, like fractions, when I say like fractions, that just means they have the same denominator. I mean, they have the same bottom number right there, okay? And that's the only way you can add and subtract fractions. Now, notice I said add and subtract fractions. That's the only way you can do it is if the denominator is the same number. Okay, if you don't have that same number, you cannot add or subtract. But today's lesson, you will have the same denominator for both. All right, so example one, the length across the bell or top of a mushroom jellyfish is about 5/6 of a foot. Okay, if two mushroom jellyfish were placed side by side, what would be the combined length? So again, this one right here is 5/6, and this one here is 5/6, and this is what is the combined length. So obviously you're going to be adding that. You're going to be adding 5/6 plus 5/6 together. Okay, and that's what they have right here. Now, if the denominator is the same, you can add these up. And as you can see, these denominators are the same. But here's the thing. You're not going to add the denominators. Okay, you don't add the denominators, and you've done this before in fourth grade. You don't add these two. You only add the top numbers together. This just stays the same. Let's look at one way down here by using models. Okay, you're going to be placing two sets of five 1/6 tiles side by side, and this was those little plastic or these little foam things that you guys had once before, and they were 1/6. And, six of those little tiny tiles would make a hole, but now we only have one, two, three, four, five. We have 5/6, and that's how they get that right there. And then you have another set of one, two, three, four, another set of 5/6, and that's where you get the 5/6 here. Okay. So there are blank 1/6 tiles altogether. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 1/6 tiles altogether. So this shows the fraction 10 over 6. Okay. So you have 10/6. You have 10 of those. So when you have 10/6 like this, remember that's like a division problem. Okay, that's like a division problem. And the way they got to this 1 2/3 is all they said was, how many times will 6 fit inside of 10? Well, you say it goes into it one time. And then you say, well, 10 minus 6 is 4. And then you get that. And then we simplified our fraction because we keep our 1. We can divide both of these by 2, and that gives us 2/3. Now they skipped a couple of steps there to get to that, but you guys have, I believe, done this in fourth grade where you have, especially this one right here where you have to simplify. We just did that one, obviously. So that's 1 2/3. So you say 1 2/3 of a foot. Another way to do that is you just add the numerators right here. You add the numerators and you keep the denominator. This would be the way that I would do it instead of doing the model way. This way is just the quicker way. All right, you add the numerators only and you keep the denominator. So they did that right here. You add 5 plus 5, which equals 10. And then they kept the denominator here as a 6. So you have 10/6. And that's what we had right here, which is our 10/6. And then, as I said, you write this as mixed number in simplest form. Again, they didn't really tell you how to get to that part right there, which I kind of, it kind of makes me mad that that they just kind of skipped a spot there. But again, you would say, well, 1 or 6 goes into 10 one whole time. 'Cause this is like saying, if you look over here, it's like saying 10 divided by 6. You would say it goes into it once. You subtract that, you get 4 left over. So you get 4 left over out of the 6. And then you divide both of these by the 2, which gives you the 1 2/3. Okay, so again, they kind of skipped around on you there, and I don't know if they do that too much on this lesson, but we definitely will be focusing or working on that in subsequent lessons here. So, okay, So this table shows how much of a book Teddy read each day. Okay. What fraction of the book did Teddy read all together? All together means add on Tuesday and Thursday. So I would go over here and I'd say, well, here's Tuesday and here's Thursday. Those are the only numbers I really have to mess with. All right. That kind of, organizes your thoughts. It lets you know the numbers you're working with. Like, you don't need to worry about those right now. They might ask you a question later on that involves those, but you can get rid of these. We're not using Monday and Thursday. We're only using Tuesday and Tuesday and Thursday. That one's a good one. That one. There we go. Tuesday and Thursday. All right. So on Tuesday, Teddy read 4/10 of a book. On Thursday, he read 2/10 of a book. All right. So we're going to add these together. Here's your adding right here. 4/10 plus 2/10. Now notice, if we go back and we look at this page here and we say add the numerators, keep the denominator. All right. So we're going to add the numerators. The numerator is a top number, remember? So you're going to say 4 plus 2, right? And that's going to equal 6. And we keep the denominator. That's why they have the 10 right there. So 6/10. Okay. And now we're going to simplify. This is what we were doing last chapter, simplifying. You look at this and say, can I break this fraction down any further? Well, you can, because if you look at this, a greatest common factor, well, 2, right? They both have 2 in common. So divide them both by 2, which will give us 3/5, which is what they're asking for right here, 3/5. So 3/5 is in simplest form, because I know that that is a prime number and that is a prime number. So that is in simplest form. So Teddy read 3/5 of the book on Tuesday and Thursday. Guided practice. Nice seahorse down here. I believe that's a seahorse. Again, we're going to add, because this is what the chapter was. Add fractions with like denominators. So we're going to add the numerators, which is 1 plus 3 equals 4. And we're going to keep the denominators, 4/7. Now, can we simplify this? Because it says write it in simplest form. Well, I look at it and say, well, if I look at the common factors of this, I would look in my head and say, well, this is 1, 2, 4, and this is 1 and 7. Well, the only thing you have in common is a 1, so no, this one right here, check. It's in simplest form. This one right here, we add the numerators. 1 plus 1 equals 2. We keep the denominator, which is 4. Can we simplify this? Always, when you have 2/4, always when you have 2/4, you can simplify it, because you can divide both of these by 2. Remember, you have 1 and 2. These are the factors of 2. These are the factors of 4. 2. We're going to divide both by 2, and it's going to give you 1/2. So 1/2 is simplest form of those right there. Today's secret letter. Yesterday, hopefully you wrote that one down. I'm not going to repeat that one. But today's secret letter is A. So write that one down, A. Again, by the end of the week, you will take these letters and you will rearrange them, unscramble them, and give me the answer for some extra credit points on your chapter, 9 test. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the independent practice now. So we're going to add, and we're going to do it in simplest form. That's the biggest thing right there, is writing these in simplest form for you guys. A lot of you will just want to end it when you're finished. That's why I would do the problem down here first and only write the finished answer right here. So we're going to rewrite this, and we're going to say, well, we're going to add those, which gives us 2, and we're going to keep that as a 6. Then you look at that and you say, all right, those are both even. And I told you, if you have an even number, you can divide both by the same number. What number was that? Shout it out. Okay, shout it out. Yeah, 2. So we're going to divide both of these by 2, which is going to give us 1/3. That's simplified. Remember, I said if you have a 1 up top, so your answer is 1/3. Circle right here. All right, we're going to add those, which gives us 8/8. Ooh, can we simplify that? You bet we can, because look, 8 goes into 8 one whole time, right? One whole time. The answer is 1. 8/8. If you have 8 slices of a piece of pizza and the pizza only had 8 slices, you have a whole pizza, one whole pizza. Next one, we're going to add 2 and 3 together, which gives us 5 over 9. Well, I know that 5 is a prime number and it doesn't fit into 9 equally. So guess what? 5/9. We are finished. This one right here. 4 plus 2, we add those together, which gives us 6 over, keep the denominator, 7. Okay. 7 is prime, 6 doesn't fit into it. Hey, 6/7. We are finished. It's done. And the reason why I knew that is, I look at it and I say, well, 6 and 7, if I'm doing the factors, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, and 6. And then right here, I'm doing 1 and 7. Those are the only factors of that one. So whenever you look at that, 1 is the only common one right there. That's how I know that's um, simplified. All right, so we add these two right here. We add 2 and 2 together, which gives us 4. We keep the denominator, which is 6. Again, if they're both even, we can divide by, say it out loud again. That's right, 2, which gives us 2 over 3. 2/3, well, 3 is prime. 2 doesn't fit in. 2 is prime, also doesn't fit into it. So our answer is 2/3. We add the top number, 2 plus 5 equals 7 over 10. All right, again, we look at 7 is a prime number. Remember, we look at 1 and 7, and then this one's 1, 2, 5, and 10 for our factors. 1's the only one that lines up, so 7/10 is our answer. It's simplified. 3/8 plus 1/8. Again, we add the top numbers, which gives us 4 over 8. Both of these are even, so I know that I can divide this by 2, which gives us 2 over 4. Hey, both of those are even again, right? I can divide both those by 2 again, which gives us 1/2. Now, see how I did that? I realized I had to do it twice because I'm like, ooh, wait, I can do this by 2. I can do it by 2. I could have just done this by 4. Remember how I said if this number will go inside of that number, you can use that number 4. But sometimes you don't always see that. So sometimes you have to do the simplifying twice to get it done. This one, 3 plus 1 is 4. Keep the denominator the same. 4 over 4, just like this one up here. 4 goes into 4 one time, so our answer is 1. This one right here, we add 4 plus 5, which equals 9. And then this one's 9. Again, boy, look at that. Equals 1 whole. I like how they put 2 whole numbers on there. All right. Now, down here at the bottom, they're wanting you to find out the missing unknown here, okay? So we got to figure out what number is missing right here. So if I look at this 2, remember this stays the same right here. They kind of tricked you here because really what they should have done is done this. Okay, there's a fraction that's missing here. We got a 2. 1 plus what equals 2? Well, you definitely know there's going to be a 1 here, right? This stays the same, right? So this is going to be a 3. So actually the unknown is 1/3 in that blank right there. I don't know why they put just one little box there for you. Right here. Well, it's just like finding the answer up here. But this is not going to be just 9. And here's why. They already simplified it for you. When you add these two together, you're going to get 9 over 12, correct? Yeah. So you're going to divide both of these by something to get 4. So what are you going to divide it by? You're going to divide both by 3, aren't you? By 3. So that's going to give you 4 on the bottom, which is 3 on top. So you're going to get your unknown is going to be 3 right there. Okay. So they kind of made it a little difficult there, but you kind of had to work to the problem and figure that out, and you'll get good at that. And then obviously this one's pretty easy because if these all stay the same, well, that has to say a 10 also. Okay. All right, let's look at the back. Terry painted 5/12 of a fence. Ray painted 4/12 of a fence. How much did they paint all together? So when you do all together, you're going to add, right? So we got 5/12 plus 4/12. And then, of course, they want us to write it in simplest form, okay? So again, we add the top numbers, which is 9, and then we keep that the same. We look at these and say, well, what can I divide both of these by? It looks like I can divide both of these by 3. Again, if I didn't know that, I would come over here and do my greatest common factors. Remember, we do the 1, we do 2. Oops, sorry, this is 3. And then this one is 2, 3, 4, and 6, right? Well, these match up with the 3s right there. It's how I got the 3. So our answer is going to be 3/4 simplified. So they painted 3/4 of the fence. Megan walked 4/10 of a mile to the park. She walked the same distance home. How much did she walk altogether? So she walked 4/10 there and back. So you're just adding 4/10 together twice, right? And we need to simplify all together. Remember, we're doing all adding here, and we need to write in simplest form. So we add the 4 and the 4 together, which gives us an 8 over, keep that the same, 10. So I look at these, they're both even numbers, right? So I can definitely divide both of these by 2. And that's going to give me 4/5. And I know 4 doesn't fit into 5 evenly, and I know that 5 is a prime number, so 4/5. I'm finished. Okay. The last one, it rained 2/8 of an inch in 1 hour. It rained 4/8 of 4/8 of an inch in the next hour. Find the total amount of rain, right, in the simplest form. So again, we're going to add 2/8 plus 4/8. So we add the top numbers, and that gives us a 6. Keep the denominator the same, which is 8. Both of those are even, so we're going to divide both of these by 2, which gives us 3/4. All right. So that just gives you an idea, and let's just not worry about those. It gives us an idea of how to do this. And notice how I've circled all these top numerators and I'm adding them together, but I kept the denominators the same. That's the key thing that you should see that I have done on every single one of these problems that we've worked on right here, even at the bottom, right here, even. Okay, we circle the top, we add those together, but we keep the denominator the same. But then we have to simplify it. That's the thing that we did last chapter. You have to simplify. You got to find a number that you can divide both the top number and the bottom number by the same one. So on all these right here, I believe these are going to be pretty cut and dry as far as your homework's concerned. You just need to make sure that you add them and that you simplify them. Make sure they're in simplest form. All right, and then on the back side, let's make sure there's not going to be any kind of weird problems here that you might have a question on. What fraction of the floats were from either a dance group or radio? So you look like you're going to add up radio and dance. That should be easy. Make sure you simplify it again. What fraction of floats were not from a sports team? So you're going to basically probably add. Looks to me like you're going to add all 3 of these together for this one right here. You got to add 3 of them together, which is the same thing. You just add the numerators together, okay? And then Sherry was in charge of distributing 25 food items that were donated to the local food pantry. On Monday, she distributed 8. On Tuesday, she distributed 7. 5 more of the items were distributed on Wednesday. What fraction of the food items were distributed by the end of the day on Wednesday? So looks like, yeah, you're just going to be adding of those. You're going to say, well, like 8/25 plus 7/25 plus 5/25, and you're just going to add those numbers there together and then simplify. I'm going to say simplify. Okay, make sure you simplify on that one. Both fractions in this expression, again, vocabulary check, usually you can always find right there on that page. Okay. And then down here, of course, you're going to add and then you're going to simplify in simplest form and tell me what the answer is. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to ask. Make sure you ask me or any adult that's in here, and we will help you. Okay, make sure that your name is on this. You've turned it in, and good luck. This one's pretty easy. It's going to get progressively harder. So I wish you guys luck, and thanks for listening.